Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We're kicking things off today with a spicy little Suburban Showdown. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Neighbor honked at me for not turning on red, so I made sure she got a public dose of petty embarrassment. So I have a neighbor who's just kind of toxic. She's kind of a princess and owns a personal trainer business. She's usually nice to me in person, but regularly fights with others. Anywho, yesterday I was turning out of my neighborhood. It was in the evening, so it's unlikely anyone was in a rush to get to work or a doctor's appointment or something. I was on my way to hang out with friends. I never turn right on red at this particular intersection because I can't see around the corner and people drive like maniacs here. There's usually a kid on an e-bike that blasts through, and I was almost hit last time I tried turning on red, so I just wait until the light's green because it's safer. Anyway, this neighbor comes up behind me and honks at me while the light was still red and furiously motioned for me to go. I looked behind me and shook my head no, and this set her off and she started yelling at me. Luckily, just as she was doing this, two other neighbors passed by on foot. I stuck my head out the window and was like, "Hey, can you make her stop honking at me?" They'd already seen everything, and she'd been rude to them in the past, and they were happy to oblige. One taunted her with a boob waggle, and the other was like, "Where's the fire?" It was more playful, which made her rage look even more pathetic. When the light turned green, I waited just a second longer to mess with her, and then we drove off. She was so embarrassed that she drove a safe distance behind me, even as I was slowing down to see if she would pass me. The story isn't as dramatic as others, but it was fun nonetheless. Edit. Just to be clear, this is right outside of my small townhome community, where only neighbors and delivery people drive, in the evening, not during rush hour, and she just pulled up behind me. The intersection we drive into from the townhome community is busy. Yes, I usually turn right on red, especially during commutes. I do not hear because I can't see the cars coming on my left side until they're very close, and they tend to speed. And as I mentioned, I almost had a bad accident because I risked it before. Sometimes it just isn't safe to turn right. I suggest not putting your turn signal on until the last second. Generally, you want to let other traffic know your intentions, but when it's a red light and everyone's waiting, you aren't holding anyone up on the right turn. But your neighbor? That's some kind of road rage. Wow. And our second story. My vegan friend expects us to only go places that suit her. My 50-year-old female friend Karen, 46-year-old female, is a vegan who doesn't drink. That's awesome, and I have no issue with that. The problem is that she's part of a small group of friends who don't get out very often, but when we do, it always has to be limited due to Karen's choices. We live in an area where our food choices suck to begin with, so having to go to eat where she can be satisfied is very limited. There really isn't much to do otherwise at night. In addition, she gets upset when any one of us eats something that has an obvious meat to it. For example, she doesn't say anything if we get a soup with chicken or something, but if we ordered a hamburger, she would cause drama. Then she doesn't drink, which is no big deal, but she'll then send us videos on the harmful effects of alcohol if we get a drink or two with dinner. It's gotten on my nerves, to say the least. It's been a while now, so I'm done with everyone catering to her needs. I've tried inviting everyone to specific places and invite Karen as well. Then she puts into a group chat, "Hey ladies, since I can't eat at X, why don't we go to Y?" Then, of course, the other ones decide we should go to Y instead. I backed off of going out because I don't want to spend money on food that sucks. Remember, it's vegan, not vegetarian, so it's very limiting and is expensive, or have my intelligence questioned by sending crap about the effects of alcohol as if we're not beyond old enough to know or Google it. I barely drink anyway, but enjoy a glass or two every so often. She asked why I keep bailing, so I told her I respect your choices, but by the very nature of them, they've limited mine. Being that I don't have the ability to go out often nor unlimited funds, I'm only going to go when I know the entire experience will be what I want. So if I'm in the mood for a steak and a vodka tonic, I want to have them in a relaxed atmosphere, and that obviously bugs you. If I'm in the mood for a salad and water, I'll gladly join you, or we can just hang out at the beach when we have time during the day. She didn't like that too much. She said that it isn't what friendship is about, and I should enjoy the company enough not to care. I told her that I understood and would gladly hang out with her when food or drink isn't in question because it's too expensive not to enjoy it. She said that there's nothing else to do around here. Then I asked if it's just about friends, then maybe she can eat first and join us sometimes, and other times we can go to where she wants. She then told me that she's not going to sit around watching people eat meat. I said, okay, I get it. And you need to get that I'm not catering to your needs each time I'm free to hang out. I later got a text from a mutual friend that Karen was upset, but she agreed with me because she was tired of this same crap. Of course, this friend doesn't like conflict, so just listen to Karen. Compromise is the key to harmony in any relationship, be it friendship or otherwise. It's important to support friends in their lifestyle choices, but it's equally important not to let one's personal decisions dictate the group's options. And our last story, a huge brick wall. Back then, I owned a small construction company. My wife, Lisa, and I had just moved to the suburbs, quaint lawns, white mailboxes, 3 stores, and one big Friday night karaoke bar. Our house sat on an old street that had never been absorbed into the brand new HOA, so technically I was a free man. Still, for the sake of neighborly peace, I mowed the grass, hid the trash can behind the gate, and never dried sheets on the front porch. Heaven forbid I spoil the aesthetic of the local Pinterest-certified despots. The HOA self-appointed queen was Karen Vanderbloom, a former bookkeeper, now a retiree sporting a helmet haircut and a tenor loud enough to summon dogs from the next state. Picture the Terminator reciting the Good Neighbor Code in Latin while clutching a Diet Coke. One Friday, Lisa and I flew to a friend's wedding in Denver. We came home Sunday night, and what do I see? My neat white picket fence gone. In its place lay a freshly shaven strip of earth, as if someone had yanked out the teeth of an entire block with bare hands. Karen, standing in the street in her signature HOA, Heart of America t-shirt, greeted me with, "Brian, don't thank me. Your fence was 7 centimeters taller than the standard and was tarnishing our brand." I replied, "Ma'am, I'm not part of your brand." With a great white smile, she added, "Everyone's happy now. Oh, and I'll mail you the bill for the demolition. Have a lovely evening." In another life, I might have swallowed a sedative and moved on, but in this one, I've got a civil engineering degree and a cousin who collects lawsuits the way others collect stamps. Next step, a lawsuit. I didn't hire a lawyer. My wife grew up in a family of attorneys and knows court forms as well as muffin recipes. We filed pro se, cost of the fence, labor, and treble damages, $14,200. I attached before and after photos and video featuring Karen's autograph. The county clerk grinned. Drama, 10 out of 10. While the court processed the case, my crew poured footings and in 2 days raised a snow-white brick wall 1.8 meters tall. County limit is 1.9. On top in giant letters it says, "Hello, Karen," the paint glowing under the streetlights. Karen rolled up in her golf cart and gave a concert for city inspectors, but each time got the same dry answer, "Code compliant. Have a nice day." Rewatching the video for the 3rd time, I noticed the same movers in front of the house across the street, 82-year-old Mrs. Ethel McMillan's place. Turns out Karen had helped her lose her fence too, threatening fines over a dangerous tree. Ethel feared court and stayed silent. I added her story to my suit as evidence of a pattern. The hearing lasted 40 minutes. Karen arrived in a bubblegum pink blazer, clutching the HOA code like a shield. The judge, a military veteran, watched the footage and asked, "Miss Vanderbloom, is that you on camera?" "Video editing." "So expertly edited that even your current sneeze matches the timestamp," he said. Verdict, $14,200 to me, $6,000 to Mrs. Ethel, all costs on Karen. Leaving the courtroom, she muttered about satanic bricks and appeals. But that was only the warm-up. While Karen drifted away chanting, "Deep fake, smear, memoir," the HOA members experienced a collective enlightenment. When the legal notices arrived, each envelope also contained their annual dues statement. Suddenly, everyone focused on one figure, $1,200 a year, yet the new playground still looked like a Chernobyl set piece. That same evening, a few proactive neighbors met in Dave, the IT guy's garage. Beer, expense to health system testing, of course. They spread the HOA's annual budgets. Karen had sent PDFs banking on nobody reading the fine print across his pickup's hood. Tonight, the fine print was barbecue seasoning. Wait, the bookkeeper software subscription, 16 grand a year? I use the same software, it's $149. Here's better. KV Consulting, 15 grand. Anyone met these consultants? Sure, we see them in the mirror. That's her LLC. Flashlights and markers joined the cookout, turning numbers into even funnier pictures. The pool roof repaired twice, $4,000 in lawn fertilizer for November when grass hibernates, and an office printer large enough to lease half a Tesla. Next morning, the neighbors logged into the online ledger, password Karen Rules, Creativity 0, and found a graveyard of expenses awaiting approval, including a new line, court cost reimbursement, $20,000. Dave facepalmed. She wants us to pay for her loss. A Karen meme with the caption, "No money, best of luck," hit the HOA chat. 247 reactions in 3 minutes. Dominoes fell. A temporary audit committee formed. 3 moms on maternity leave, 2 freelance accountants, and 1 undercover senior tax lieutenant from house number 58. They did it by the book, compared bank statements to invoices, called every vendor Karen had listed. Only 3 of 8 answered. 2 admitted they hadn't worked there in 3 years. The third said the address didn't exist and asked when Karen would pay for the cat she temporarily fostered last winter. The climax arrived with a mysterious expense. Community Enhancement Retreat, $8,000 in an Atlantic City hotel, dated the same weekend Karen claimed professional development. Her Facebook photo, 3rd margarita, slot machine in the background, rounded out the report nicely. A week later, the emergency HOA meeting packed the gym again. No projector needed. The auditors printed a 2-meter expense roll and hung it on the basketball hoop. Karen walked in with fresh hair and an "I told you so" smile until she read the first line. Hot tub upgrade, $12,500. "But we don't even have a hot tub," yelled the grandpa from house number 12, generally against anything that bubbles. Karen tried her old record, Excel glitch, I'll explain at home, trust the process. But the process had her in a ring of phones and microphones. The volunteer chief accountant called the bank on speaker. When the manager confirmed Karen's signature on every sketchy check, the crowd roared so loud the fire alarm blushed. The vote followed a TikTok recipe, fast, noisy, no seconds, 186 for removal, 3 against, 1 ballot reading, "Free Britney." Karen was ousted. A caretaker board installed, and that night the auditors handed their files to the sheriff and DA. The next week turned the neighborhood into Forensic Audit Live. Tax agents arrived with boxes like kids on Christmas morning. Karen tried to slip out the back door with a flash drive in her teeth, only to land on the local news. Her quote of the year, "I'm not a bookkeeper, I'm a numbers artist." Meanwhile, the HOA came back to me. "You're a builder, can you estimate a real pool repair?" I laughed so hard I nearly chipped my wall. My bid came in at 1/3 of Karen's fable, and for the first time in 5 years, the HOA budget balanced without a mysterious other column. What's next for Karen? The DA is prepping charges, fraud, falsifying financial records, and embezzlement. Her hot tub fund is Exhibit A, and that colorful Excel sheet is destined for county archives as the priciest bubble bath without water. The neighbors began rehab on the neighborhood, recovered funds, bought a real playground with rubber surfacing. At the entrance stands a cheeky sign, sponsored by the Economic Crimes Unit, and 1 patient bricklayer. I updated my company slogan again: "We build fences, demolish scams, and aid audits." On the white wall below "Hello, Karen," there's now a small white QR code. Scan it and you get the public PDF of the final audit. Tourists pose for photos, laughing that it's an art installation about financial karma. Some say evil always comes back like a boomerang. Nonsense. With a construction crew, an audit committee, and a dash of sarcasm, evil comes back as a brick to the wallet and keeps ringing in the ears for a long, long time. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.